Previously on Shaw Brothers vs. Golden Harvest, Run Run Shaw built an empire, Movie Town, the studio system, total control. Stars like Cheng Pei Pei, Jimmy Wang Yu, T. Long, David Chiang, Fu Sheng, and many others made Shaw Brothers unstoppable. But inside the empire, Raymond Chow, Shaw's own production chief, saw the cracks. Talent treated poorly, creativity crushed, monopoly breeding arrogance. 1970, Raymond Chow quits. Run Run Shaw's response: "He'll fail. He will come back." Raymond Chow walked away with nothing. No studio, no stars, no plan. Just a dream, a better way to make films. The question: could one man challenge the most powerful film empire in Asia? The answer was about to shock the world. Golden Harvest, starting from zero. Raymond Chow and his partner, Leonard Ho, a former production manager at Shaw Brothers, shared the same vision. In 1970, they agreed to build Golden Harvest. What they had: experience, decades at Shaw. Connections, knew every actor, director, distributor. Vision, a better way to make films. What they didn't have: studio lot, rented facilities, theater chains, had to negotiate with independents. Contract stars, had to convince people project by project. Deep pockets, limited capital. The obstacles? 1. Shaw's monopoly. Shaw Theaters refused to show Golden Harvest films initially. Distributors afraid of Shaw retaliation. Actors afraid of Shaw blacklist. 2. Industry skepticism. Who challenges Shaw Brothers and survives? Most predicted failure within a year. The strategy? Do everything opposite. Shaw Brothers way to Golden Harvest way. 7-year exclusive contracts to film-by-film deals. Freedom. Fixed low salaries to profit sharing, percentage of box office. No creative input to full creative control. Studio assigns roles to stars choose projects. 40 to 50 films per year, quantity, to 10 to 15 films per year, quality. Domestic focus only to international co-productions. Period pieces only to modern contemporary stories. We own you to we're partners. Autocracy to collaboration. Raymond Chow's pitch to talent. At Shaw Brothers, you're a product. With us, you're a partner. Let's get rich together. First productions, 1970 to 1971. Small budget action films, rented studios, freelance talent, modest success, nothing spectacular, survival, but barely. The problem? Golden Harvest need a star to break through. Need something Shaw Brothers can't match. Need a game changer. Who's available? Who is disappointed? Who's been rejected by Shaw? Then, late 1970, a name comes up: Bruce Lee. Bruce returns to Hong Kong. Bruce Lee, the man who would change everything. Born November 27, 1940, San Francisco, Chinatown. Raised Hong Kong. Returned as infant. Child actor, 20-plus Hong Kong films, 1940s to 1950s. Teenage years, street fighter, Wing Chun student under Ip Man. 1959, age 18, returns to San Francisco. Teaches martial arts, opens martial arts schools, develops Jeet Kune Do philosophy, trains Hollywood stars Steve McQueen, James Coburn, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Hollywood struggle. The Green Hornet, 1966 to 1967. Supporting role as Kato, the sidekick. Show canceled after 1 season, but Bruce's fighting drew attention. TV guest spots, Longstreet, Ironside, Blondie, Here Come the Brides, always the Asian guy, small roles, stereotypes. The Betrayal. Kung Fu TV series. Bruce pitches himself for lead role. Shaolin monk in American West. Warner Brothers interested, but American audiences won't accept an Asian lead. Role given to David Carradine, white actor. Bruce Lee, devastated, angry, bitter. The frustration. 1970. Age 29, going nowhere in Hollywood. Typecast, limited to villain or sidekick roles. Racism blocking his path. Growing family to support. Wife Linda, son Brandon, born 1965. The Visit, summer 1970. Returns to Hong Kong to visit family. Local TV show, Enjoy Yourself Tonight. Demonstrates martial arts, talks philosophy. Explosive. Phones light up, people remember the child star, streets recognize him. The realization. Maybe America isn't ready for me, but Hong Kong is. Shaw Brothers' fatal mistake. Late 1970, Bruce Lee approaches Shaw Brothers. This should have been easy. Bruce was born in Hong Kong, local boy returns, former child star, nostalgia factor, Hollywood trained, novelty, incredible martial artist, obvious talent. The meeting. Bruce demonstrates his speed, power, philosophy. Bruce's pitch. I want to make real kung fu films. Let me choreograph the fights. I'll show things never seen before. I'll bring Hollywood production knowledge. Give me creative control. Run Shaw's assessment. Not traditionally handsome. By Hong Kong standards, too muscular, too intense. Just a TV actor from America, not film star material. Too westernized. Speaks Cantonese with accent after years in US. Wants too much control. Doesn't fit the Shaw system. We already have kung fu stars. Jimmy Wong Yu, T. Long, David Zhang. The offer. Standard Shaw Brothers contract. 2,500 Hong Kong dollars per film. Mid-tier contract player rate. 7-year exclusive. Trapped in system. No creative control. Studio decides everything. No profit sharing. Take your salary and be grateful. Bruce Lee's response. Insulted, angry, walks out. I'm worth more than this. Someone will see it. Run Shaw's reaction. He'll be back. They always come back. I have T. Long, David Zhang, Fu Sheng coming up. I don't need another actor. But this decision cost Shaw Brothers approximately $500 million plus in lost revenue over the next decades. The single biggest mistake in Hong Kong film history. Golden Harvest's gamble. Early 1971, Raymond Chow hears Bruce Lee is available. Raymond Chow watches Bruce move and sees everything. Speed never seen before, explosive power, magnetic charisma, sharp intelligence, articulate, philosophical, and raw hunger from years of Hollywood rejection. Raymond Chow's thought, this is the game changer. This is how we beat Shaw. The Golden Harvest offer. 7,500 Hong Kong dollars per film. 3 times Shaw's offer. 15% of box office profits. Revolutionary. Unprecedented in Hong Kong cinema. Creative control over fight choreography. Only 2 film contract, not 7-year slavery. International distribution plan. Raymond's connections. Partnership approach. We'll build this together. The math. If a film makes 3 million Hong Kong dollars, Shaw Brothers give 2,500 total. Golden Harvest gives 7,500 plus 450,000, 15%, equals 457,500 total. Over 180 times more. Bruce Lee's response? This is the deal I deserve. Let's do it. He signs the contract in March 1971. Golden Harvest's risk. Golden Harvest bets its entire future on Bruce Lee. If Bruce Lee's film flops, company bankrupt. Golden Harvest spending 50% of annual budget on one film. If Chow's assessment is right, Raymond Chow destroyed. The Big Boss, the Earthquake. In mid-1971, The Big Boss was born under modest circumstances. Shot in Thailand to cut costs, the film was made on a shoestring budget of just 100,000 Hong Kong dollars. The story was simple: a factory worker pushed to the edge, standing against drug smugglers. The production itself was a struggle. Thailand was hot and unforgiving, the budget was tight, language barriers slowed everything down. But even in raw footage, one thing was undeniable: Bruce Lee commanded the screen. From the start, Bruce took complete control of the fight scenes. He choreographed every movement, demanded endless retakes, and refused the fantasy of wirework. This was not Wuxia. This was real violence, fast, brutal, and emotional. Every punch had weight, every strike carried intent. His vision clashed with director Lo Wei, who warned the film was too intense, too violent. Bruce disagreed. That intensity, he insisted, was the point. When The Big Boss opened on October 31st, 1971, the impact was immediate. Lines wrapped around theaters, words spread fast. Audiences said they had never seen kung fu like this before. Not stylized, not theatrical, real. Unlike Shaw Brothers' elegant choreography, The Big Boss delivered raw realism. Bruce Lee was truly fast, no camera tricks, no undercranking. His martial arts were authentic, and his emotional intensity made every fight feel dangerous. The box office exploded. Records fell in the first week. The crowds never slowed. By the end of its run, the film had earned 3.2 million Hong Kong dollars, matching the biggest Shaw hits, despite coming from a new studio with an unknown leading man. The shockwave rippled through the industry. Shaw Brothers panicked, Golden Harvest was vindicated, and Bruce Lee became a superstar overnight. The numbers told the story. A $100,000 investment turned into massive profit. Bruce himself earned nearly 500,000 Hong Kong dollars, more than many stars made in years. The Big Boss was not just a hit. It was an earthquake. And it was only the beginning. Fist of Fury, the knockout blow. At that time, Hong Kong was still under British colonial rule. Shaw's films were not just entertainment. They were an escape to a whole, glorious, and uncolonized China. And this longing was realized with the arrival of Fist of Fury in March 1972. Bruce Lee's second film. Higher budget, more control. Fist of Fury. The story. Chinese martial arts school versus Japanese oppressors. 1920s Shanghai. Bruce avenging his master's death. Nationalist, anti-colonial themes. Iconic scenes. Chinese are not the sick men of Asia. Sign smashing. Nunchaku versus Japanese sword school. First nunchaku in cinema. Bruce versus Russian fighter, showcasing multiple styles. Final sacrifice. Tragic hero ending. Cultural resonance. Hong Kong in 1972. British colonial rule. Chinese pride suppressed. Yearning for identity, strength. Bruce's character equals Chinese empowerment. Stands up to oppressors. Defends Chinese honor. Refuses to bow. The audience reaction. Explosive. Not just entertainment. Cultural catharsis. Box office. Release. March 22, 1972. Opening weekend broke The Big Boss records. Sustained run. Months in theaters. Final total, 4.3 million Hong Kong dollars. Demolished all Shaw Brothers records. Highest grossing Hong Kong film ever at that time. The impact on Bruce Lee transcended film star to cultural icon, symbol of Chinese strength and pride. Kids imitating him everywhere. Bruce Lee mania sweeps Asia. On Golden Harvest, legitimate threat to Shaw Brothers now. Every distributor wants Golden Harvest films. Raymond Chow can negotiate favorable terms. The underdog is rising. On Shaw Brothers, crisis mode. Run Run Shaw realizes, I made a catastrophic mistake. Emergency meetings, Find me the next Bruce Lee.
Shaw's desperate response. Attempt 1. Get Bruce back. Raymond Chow reaches out to Bruce. Name your price. Bruce Lee's response. Too late. I'm with people who believed in me from the start.
Attempt 2. Find the next Bruce Lee. Actors pushed. Chen Sing. Muscular. Intense. Audiences reject. Not charismatic. Tong Jia. Martial artist. Can't act. Bruce Lee, Bruce La, Bruce Lai. Later. Shameless imitators. Insulting. None worked. You can't manufacture charisma. Attempt 3. Double down on existing stars. Push T. Long, David Jung harder. Raise Fu Xing's profile. Youth appeal. Increase budgets for traditional wuxia. We don't need Bruce Lee. We have the system. The problem. Audiences now know there's an alternative. Modern stories versus ancient China. Realistic fighting versus theatrical. Contemporary heroes versus period costume. Shaw Brothers suddenly looks old. And Bruce Lee wasn't done yet. He had one more film coming, the one that would change cinema forever. Enter the Dragon. The Hollywood Deal. In 1972, Raymond Chow saw what others refused to see. Bruce Lee was already the biggest star in Asia, a phenomenon, a force of nature. But in the West, he was still invisible, known only to grindhouse audiences and kung fu devotees. Chow's vision was clear and dangerous. Take Bruce Lee to Hollywood, break him into mainstream America. The timing was perfect. Martial arts films were quietly exploding in the United States. The Five Fingers of Death, a Shaw Brothers production, had shocked the industry by earning over $20 million in America, an unexpected hit, a warning sign. The market was hungry. And Bruce Lee was everything Hollywood lacked: charisma, authenticity, fluent English, and a presence that burned through the screen. Raymond Chow took his pitch to Warner Brothers. The deal was made. The film would be Enter the Dragon, an $850,000 budget, massive by Hong Kong standards, modest by Hollywood's. A true co-production, Golden Harvest and Warner Brothers. Warner would handle global distribution. There were compromises. Hollywood insisted on a Western director, Robert Klaus. Bruce Lee would not direct. An international cast was assembled. John Saxon, Jim Kelly, American faces alongside Bruce Lee, a bridge between worlds. Then came the reaction from Shaw Brothers. Raymond Chow said, "A Hollywood gimmick, it will fail. Americans don't want Chinese heroes." It was a fatal miscalculation. Again. Bruce Lee's vision. This was more than a movie. For Bruce Lee, it was the first true Hong Kong-Hollywood co-production on this scale, and the moment he had been waiting for his entire life. This was his chance to show the West what real martial arts looked like. Not fantasy, not choreography for spectacle, but speed, power, and truth. He wanted to make Kung Fu cool for American audiences. More than that, he wanted to define it. This is my chance to show the world who I am. From day one, Bruce demanded absolute control over the fight scenes. Every movement, every strike, every pause was his responsibility. There were no compromises. He insisted on endless retakes, chasing a level of perfection few had ever seen on a film set. That obsession led to constant clashes with director Robert Klaus. When Klaus said, "It's good enough, move on," Bruce answered, "It's never good enough until it's perfect." The production. Production ran from January to April 1973. The set became a collision of worlds. Hollywood crews working alongside Hong Kong filmmakers, different cultures, different rhythms, different rules. Tension was unavoidable, yet one truth became impossible to deny. Bruce Lee was a genius. Every day, the dailies stunned the crew. The camera could barely keep up with him. What they were capturing didn't look like a kung fu movie. It looked like something entirely new. Filming wrapped in April 1973, and post-production shifted to Warner Brothers in Hollywood. The release was scheduled for August. By then, Bruce Lee was exhausted, physically drained, mentally pushed to his limits. But he was also filled with anticipation. Because deep down, he knew the truth. This film wasn't just going to succeed, it was going to change everything. The tragedy. July 20th, 1973. Bruce Lee was dead. He was 32 years old. The cause? Cerebral edema. In an instant, the world stopped. Hong Kong fell into mourning. What began as shock quickly turned into a national tragedy. Golden Harvest was shattered. An entire industry stood still, unable to comprehend the loss. Raymond Chow spoke through grief. "We didn't lose a star, we lost a brother." At the time of his death, Enter the Dragon had not yet been released. The future was suddenly uncertain. The question hung in the air, unspoken but terrifying. Was this the end of everything they had built? Inside Warner Brothers, hesitation set in. Executives debated the unthinkable. Should the film be delayed out of respect? Should it be shelved entirely? Would releasing it feel exploitative? Too morbid? Raymond Chow made the decision. Bruce Lee, he said, would want the world to see this film, not as a tragedy, but as a legacy. Warner Brothers agreed. The release date was set, August 19th, 1973. From that moment on, Enter the Dragon carried a new weight. It was no longer just a movie. It was Bruce Lee's final film. And the world was about to witness him one last time. The release. August 19th, 1973. Enter the Dragon premieres, and cinema is never the same again. In the United States, the film opens wide in major cities. Warner Brothers launches a full marketing assault centered on a single haunting line: Bruce Lee's final performance. Tragedy meets curiosity. The result is explosive. Opening weekend, theaters are overwhelmed. Lines wrap around city blocks. Every screening sells out. Across America, audiences walk out stunned and spread the word at lightning speed. "I've never seen anything like this. Bruce Lee is unbelievable. The fight scenes are insane." The momentum doesn't fade. It multiplies. Week after week, Enter the Dragon holds the #1 spot. It stays in theaters for months, breaking free from the kung fu niche and crossing fully into the mainstream. This isn't just a martial arts hit, it's a cultural event. The numbers tell the story. In the United States alone, the film earns $25 million, over $150 million by today's standards. Worldwide, millions more pour in from Europe, Asia, everywhere. By the end of 1973, Enter the Dragon stands among the top 10 highest-grossing films in America. No martial arts film had ever done this. It outgrosses most Hollywood productions. An independent, foreign-backed film becomes a global phenomenon. Why did it work? Because of Bruce Lee. His performance transcends language and culture. His fighting is unlike anything American audiences have ever seen. Fast, precise, philosophical. There is depth beneath the action, intelligence behind the violence, and star power in every frame. The production strikes a perfect balance. Hollywood polish fused with Hong Kong energy. A diverse international cast, relentless pacing, 91 minutes with no excess, and moments that instantly become legendary. The Hall of Mirrors, the Nunchaku duel with Bob Wall. The timing is perfect. Post-Vietnam America is looking outward, drawn to Asian culture. Martial arts are already on the rise. And Bruce Lee's sudden death transforms him into something more than a star. He becomes a legend. The impact is immediate. A kung fu craze sweeps across the United States from 1973 to 1976.
Children imitate Bruce Lee in schoolyards. Martial arts schools explode in popularity, enrollment multiplying overnight. The word Kung Fu enters everyday English. Even the television series Kung Fu, starring David Carradine, the role Bruce Lee was once denied, surges in popularity. The irony is impossible to ignore. The long-term impact is even greater. Bruce Lee becomes eternal. More than 50 years later, his influence remains everywhere. He opens doors for Asian actors, slowly, painfully, but permanently. He reshapes Hollywood action cinema, and he inspires generations of martial artists and stars, Jackie Chan, Jet Li, Donnie Yen, and countless others. For Golden Harvest, nothing is ever the same again. For the world, neither is cinema.
The aftermath. Golden Harvest ascendant. Post Enter the Dragon, Golden Harvest transformed. Financially, massive profits. 25 million box office. Golden Harvest gets large cut. Warner Brothers wants more collaborations. International distributors calling. Everyone wants Golden Harvest films now. Company valued at multiples of previous year. Industrially, seen as international studio, not just regional. Hollywood respects them. Co-production partner of choice. Access to global markets. Shaw never achieved this. Game changed from Hong Kong battle to world stage. Culturally, Golden Harvest equals modern, innovative, visionary. Shaw Brothers equals old-fashioned, stuck in the past. Youth market shifts decisively to Golden Harvest. International fans discover Hong Kong cinema through Golden Harvest.
Shaw Brothers' position. Still powerful domestically, T. Long, Fu Sheng, David Zhang equals strong draws. Movie town infrastructure intact, theater chains still profitable. But losing cultural relevance, international market closed to them. Distributors prefer Golden Harvest, can't compete with profit-sharing model. Stars know Golden Harvest pays more. Raymond Chow aging, 67 years old in 1973, less dynamic. The power shift. 1970 to 1972, Shaw Brothers dominant, 70% market share. 1973, tipping point, enter the dragon effect. 1974 onward, Golden Harvest rising, will eventually overtake.
But the war was far from over. Shaw Brothers wasn't done yet. They still had more weapon. Shaw Brothers would fight back with T. Loon and Fu Sheng, also the Venom Mob, and Gordon Liu Jaiwei's 36th Chamber of Shaolin. But Golden Harvest had an ace, a failed Shaw Brothers actor, a stuntman nobody believed in, a comedian who would become the biggest star in the world. Jackie Chan. Coming next in Part 3, Shaw Brothers versus Golden Harvest, the fall and the legacy. The Jackie Chan miracle, from failure to superstar. Shaw Brothers' slow collapse, 1978 to 1985. Golden Harvest's global domination, 1980s to 1990s. The final verdict, who won? The answer might surprise you. The legacy, how they both changed cinema forever. Like if you're Team Shaw or Team Golden Harvest. Comment your favorite Shaw or Golden Harvest films and stars. Subscribe so you don't miss Part 3.